Well, it is the beginning of another big week here. Look, could the government shut down? It could. It's not going to happen. I don't believe. Democrats wanted to shut. Isn't it remarkable? Whoever's in power doesn't want it to shut down. Whoever's not in power wants it to shut down. It's always that way. Boom, boom, boom. Anyhow, that's so they're working on a continuing resolution in Washington to keep the government funded in this fashion through October so they can work out this reconciliation bill. Meanwhile, here in Michigan, big things are happening. Katie Heid is the Michigan Source Assistant News Director. She joins me now. Katie, good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah. So what's here in Michigan, I see a lot of different things going on. I see the DNR is going broke. One of the things that popped to the top of my concern list here recently. But what do you got big this week?
Well, we're looking at following up with the whole protect women and girls in sports story that has not gone away,
Yeah.
continues to linger. Last week, Michigan Republicans came out, sent a letter to the MHSAA, which is the governing body that looks after high school sports here in Michigan. They said you need to comply with President Trump's Title IX executive order, which Congress tried to codify and did not reach that, but they said, we're asking you to abide by this, that you not allow men to play in women and girls sports. And the MHSAA for the last month has been in this so-called holding pattern, saying that they are waiting to get some clarification back to see how that law is juxtaposed or goes along with the Elliott Larson Civil Rights Act here in Michigan. But I'm not quite sure what they're waiting for because federal
That's what I was going to say, Katie. Waiting on what and from whom? Are they waiting for this for what? Look, it's federal law. Title IX has been federal law since 1972. It's pretty simple stuff here. Look, I'm not going to play games with this. Michigan High School Athletic Association is wrong. Alyssa Slotkin was wrong when she came out and said, we need to let... It's not an issue in Michigan. Look, first of all, Alyssa Slotkin and her response last week I thought was, well, not great, to say the least. Here's a woman, by the way, Alyssa Slotkin, who didn't even vote on Title IX. Oh, I'm not going to vote on it. It wasn't important enough for her to even cast a ballot because she can't vote no. And if she votes yes, then she knows that it'll be around her neck for the rest of her political career, right? I mean, that's all it is, politics. Even though, how can anybody justify... I mean, you talk to high school coaches. Who the hell would support this? Honestly.
Talk to high school students, Steve. I have a middle schooler, and none of his friends understand why adults would want men to play in girls' sports. So it's not a political party distinction, it's a common sense distinction. You're right. Alyssa Slotkin couldn't even be bothered to vote on the Protection of Women and Girls in Sports Act on Monday night. Then she comes on TV on Tuesday night and gives the response to President Trump's State of the Union, so to speak, his joint address to Congress. And she said, you need to hold all politicians, including me, responsible for our actions. And what I had done earlier in the day is I contacted...
No, we lost Katie there for a second. She made contact, and then the NSA shut us down because they don't want us talking about Alyssa Slotkin. Shut us down. What a Monday it is. Anyhow, Anthony, if you can pull that back in. Not sure what happened there, but Alyssa Slotkin refused to vote on the Women in Sports Act, Women Protection Act. Very true. And then gave the response...
Got her back.
To Donald Trump's State of the Union. I think that's fair to call it, joint session of Congress, whichever. But all right, so she didn't vote. Well, I mean, how does she not vote on Title IX, right? Can she not tell us what a woman is either?
Apparently not, and this is the line that the Democratic Party appears to be walking, and I'm not sure I understand that. Again, I think it's a common sense issue. And when you look here in Michigan at the MHSAA, they say that 2 men have submitted these formal waivers so that they can play in women's sports. And the left says, well, it's only 2. And everybody else is saying, but it's too many. Men, boys should not be playing in women and girls sports. And so those are just the cases that we know about. Those are not the ones that fly under the radar and where schools have said, yes, we'll allow this, and there hasn't been a formal waiver submitted. So I'm not sure why the MHSAA is waiting. Again, federal law supersedes state law. So in Michigan, if the powers that be wanted to implement segregation and say that African Americans are to be over here in public spaces and Caucasians are to be over here, they can't do that because it's against federal law. And this is the same situation.
I would agree with you. I think it's a great analogy. You can't violate federal law if you don't like it and respect it if you do. It doesn't work that way. We've been through this before, and I think that funding is in trouble here. Look, if the federal government says you're not following federal law, they can withhold funding. I mean, that's how they forced everybody to get into speed limits. You know, states didn't want to have 55-mile-an-hour speed limits when I grew up. They said, that's fine, don't have a 55-mile-an-hour speed limit. We'll give you zero money for your highways. And so, look, they'll give you zero money for your education. It's just a matter of following the law. But what about Alyssa Slotkin? I mean, how squishy? I mean, take a stand. Isn't that her job as a senator? She just got elected. Isn't it her job to take a stand? I mean, she hates Donald Trump, obviously.
Right, and that appears to be what the Democrat Party is standing for, the fact that they have to do everything that goes against President Trump rather than voting on the things that are for the American people. This is just what politicians should be doing. You're representing your area. So Alyssa Slotkin, newly elected, but Michigan will have a choice in who they elect to fill Senator Gary Peters' seat in November 2026 because he is retiring. But again, he voted no on the Protection in Women and Girls in Sports Act. And so Michigan has a lot of work to do if they want that representation in the Senate. And yes, hold your elected officials accountable. I have talked to people that are kind of beyond the, we're done with sending sternly worded letters. We're done with holding press conferences where we sound tough. Start getting involved. So parents calling the MHSAA and saying, look, get on board with this. I don't want my daughter playing against a man who could possibly injure her for life. And calling politicians and saying, this is what we elected you to do. This is how we want you to vote.
Yeah. That's why you're there. You're there to represent the people. You're not there just to sit stone-faced and play games for the next election, but that's what they'll do. Katie Heid, Michigan News Source, doing great work as always. MichiganNewsSource.com if you want real news and you want real information, is the place to go. They're also on 2025 radio stations. You can hear her voice all over this state every single day. That's right, Katie. There's my shout out to you. Thank you for being here.
Thank you so much.
Greatly appreciate Katie Heid, everybody here on the program. MichiganNewsSource.com. If you want something that's not leftist garbage, just want facts and you can decide for yourself, MichiganNewsSource.com. Check them out. Follow them on Twitter. Get all the breaking news as you need it. There you go. All right. I'll take a break here on the Steve Gruber Show. It's a Monday. Don't forget to follow me. And I don't mean, just follow me on social media. That's all I meant, Anthony. Nothing creepy. All right. I'll be right back.